Hey guys, this is your girl Tara with Coaching for Life, and I am coming to you with part 2 of that 3-part series, thoughts or experiences, thoughts, and beliefs, or the results that we get in our life. Sorry it took so long for me to get this video to you. I was just kind of looking at some different processes and some things that I could lend to this video, especially based off of the last videos that I shot and responses to those videos. So on the topic of thoughts, I just want to backtrack a little bit. The last video, which spoke about experiences, spoke about those experiences that we've had throughout our lives, especially starting in our earlier years. So that could be in the stages where our root chakra and sacral chakra are developing, things that have to do with need for support, trust, reliance upon others. All of those things are factors in our experiences. Now, from those experiences that we have in our life, we then move to our thoughts. We get to a stage where we're not just taking in information, but we start to process it and kind of form feelings, opinions, and thoughts about what we experienced. So this brings us to part 2, which we're doing right now of the 3-part series, which is your thoughts. Now, as I was going for my walk today, I was kind of contemplating my day, and I was also thinking about some things that had passed across my virtual desk and just relating them to this topic of our thoughts and how all of this plays into our beliefs and our results. And I thought about one area that I could focus in on in this video that might help a lot of people. And I know it's something that helped me as I continued down that journey of growing into my higher self. And as I continue on that journey, obviously, I'm not all the way there yet. Still working at it every single day. But the thought had me in a place where I was focusing on that topic of relationships and how those relationships affect us and those thoughts that are formed. So I want to focus in on, if you can picture in your mind, a circle or a cycle. And at one part of the circle, there's the word fear. And then at the bottom part of the circle, there's the word codependent. So think of those two words as being part of this cycle. And the reason why I want to put that imagery in your head is because I want you to think about this thought of codependency with regard to fear, distrust, maybe just not feeling safe with others, and how all of that connects. But as it connects, it keeps this loop or this circle going of more codependency, more distrust, more fear, more doubt, more worry, more anxiety. So as we have experiences when we are younger or in a state where we're more prone to being sensitive to the stimuli that we're experiencing, as we go through life and we start to think about those experiences and we're processing now how we felt about them, and it may start to generate emotions based off of those experiences. And then we have thoughts about those emotions. Those thoughts begin to form the paradigm or the basis for our belief system in this life. What do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is, as we continue to think thoughts of, let's say, fear, doubt, disbelief, distrust in other individuals, we don't feel that we can be supported by others. And this is just to focus in on, once again, problem or issue areas where we might be dealing with lower vibration or limiting beliefs. That's why I'm focusing in here. We start to form a paradigm or a belief system. Think of it as a platform that we base everything that's happening from that point forward in our life on. So, where's the issue with that? Where's the problem with that? Well, If you're satisfied with your paradigm and it's producing good results for you, there's no problem at all. But usually when we get into a place where we feel limited or stuck, it's usually not producing the results that we want, especially if we're a person that's trying to expand and grow into our higher self, which is a process that takes practice. What do I mean by that? Practice meaning it's something that we're working at each and every day, each and every moment. And we start to base our thoughts on how we're going to handle things in our lives, what expressions come out of our mouth, what emotions we want to promote, what feelings we want to focus in on. We start thinking about those things and we become cognizant of those things such that our emotions and our egoic mind is not the thing that's running us, but instead we're having thoughts and we're processing information with regard to the fact that we want shift, we want change, we want to elevate into that best part of ourselves so we can have the best experience possible. Now, with all of that being said, the question might be, well, what can be done if a person is stuck in a loop or a cycle of codependency with fear, doubt, distrust of other people, in general, distrust of family members, friends, whatever it may be, that is feeling limiting to you? And I want to emphasize this. If this is not something that is feeling limiting to you, disregard. But if this is something that feels limiting and is keeping you in a loop or a cycle that is not producing the results that you want to produce, it's time to do something about your thought process. By changing that thought process, we can then access our mind to be able to create new neural pathways so that we have more connections and we can start to think about new ways of doing things. How do we go about that? Well, it's actually easier than you would think. We start by replacing thoughts that are limiting and that are part of that cycle or that loop of codependency with thoughts that are beneficial and helpful. So let's say you have a thought that's kind of like, oh, well, I could trust this person, but they're probably going to end up screwing me over. That's what always happens. So I'm just going to be on my guard. Instead of thinking that thought, we could switch that thought out for a thought that's more beneficial. Like, in the past, I have found that some people I couldn't trust, but maybe this time I can be open to trusting this person, or maybe this time I can be open to having a new experience. It doesn't have to be a thought that makes you completely uncomfortable because it's completely untrue and you don't believe it. Because if you're not there resonating with it, it probably won't feel very good to say it. But if you pick a mantra, an affirmation, or a thought that feels realistic to you, but that's just a slight bit shifted above where you were, you'll find that each time that you do this process, you're able to move up a step to a new thought that feels better and better and better. And eventually you'll get to a place where the negative thought that was constantly in your mind and heart isn't there or isn't there as much. So if you'd like to, I'd love for you to give this process a try with your thoughts, remembering that the experiences that we have, we begin to have feelings and emotions about that. We have thoughts about those experiences. And if we find that those experiences were displeasing, then we tend to have limiting or lower vibration thoughts about them. At that point, it's up to us to decide whether those thoughts are beneficial for the results we want to create in our life. And if they are not, we can try the process of using affirmations or beneficial words, sentence structures, or thought processes that shift us just a bit higher than we were until we get to a place where we're feeling better about that topic, and then eventually we're seeing better results. Now, I'm going to stop there because that's going to lead us into the third video, which is going to talk about our beliefs or our results that we get to After we've had certain experiences, we form thoughts about them and how that is the foundation for our beliefs. So I'm going to pause there for today, but definitely if you'd like to try that process, I'd love to hear how that worked for you. Just picking an affirmation or a positive thought that shifts you from the negative thought that's reoccurring in your mind on that cycle or loop. Try that for a week. Maybe start with once in the morning when you get up, doing that process, and once in the evening just before you fall asleep. So that way you catch your brain when it's in a more receptive state to receiving this new process. After you try it, leave a comment and let me know how that worked for you. And definitely, I'll be looking forward to talking with you in the next video where we speak about our beliefs and our results. This is your girl Tara with Coaching for Life. Hope you're having a beautiful Tuesday wherever you are, and I will see you soon.